Yeah, you read it right. You've all been sleeping on the most powerful pal in Palworld. But how upset are you gonna be when you realize it's this magnificent beast? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The magnificent Sweeper is the most powerful pal in Palworld. You know what they always say, bigger mustache, bigger damage. I know. You probably don't believe me, but I wouldn't have caught 492 Swee and 220 Sweeper for no reason. This bad boy is currently sitting at 2,351 attack with a passive skill bonus of plus 184, 1,423 defense, and we've taught it every skill under the sun to take advantage of all type advantages in the game. This thing is an absolute monster in a cute, fluffy package. Alright, maybe it's not that cute. The only downside is he's thick and slow. But other than that, this thing puts out a ton of damage. It's incredibly tanky, and otherwise just a ridiculous pal that can destroy pretty much anything. Yeah, I've pretty much spent the last 2 days completely losing my mind, doing nothing but hunting Swee and breeding Sweeper like a madman. But you know what? It was worth it. Now let's go over why Sweeper is so unbelievably powerful. When I was going through the pal deck, I realized this thing had a partner skill called King of Fluff. This allows it to be ridden, but it also has the added bonus of while fighting together, stats will increase the more Swee are in your team. And that made me start thinking, okay, if we have Swee in our team, what does Swee give as a benefit? Now, Swee on their own, they look pretty inconspicuous. Not really much of a threat until you run into about 100 of them out in the wild, but they have a partner skill called Fluffy. While in team, Sweeper's stats will be increased, and I was very intrigued by this because you can level up partner skills. And this got me thinking. This is what made me wake up and choose violence. So I've got a level 6 Sweeper here. It's currently got Legend, Lucky, and Swift, but let's go ahead and just grab a regular one with absolutely no passive skills. And let's grab a Swee with no passive skills as well. Now, if we view details on Sweeper, you'll notice we have a boost to our attack and defense. We have a 12% increase to our attack, and we have a 12% increase to our defense. And this is due to the passive skill that Swee has. Every Swee that is in your team is going to boost Sweeper's stats. Now, the way this gets super overpowered is with the Pal Condenser. If you don't know, you can unlock this at level 14. And this allows you to basically take the souls of other pals and put them into a pal that you are trying to make stronger. So let's use this Swee for instance. This is a garbage Swee, but we're going to use it. You'll notice that we get increased HP, attack, and defense, but we also get Fluffy level 2. Now the first level only takes 4 Swee. We're going to condense that into this one. And we could do it again. The next one is going to take 16 Swee, and then 32, and then 64. I believe you need like 116 total Swee or some kind of math number to be able to completely max out a pal in the pal condensation menu. Now there is a bug in the game where Sweeper's stats won't update automatically. You can see we still have a passive skill increase of 12% for the attack and defense. So what you need to do is remove the pals from your party. You put the Sweeper in, and then you add your Swees. This is going to update the bonus stats, and you can see instead of a 12%, we have a 13%. Now the first level gives basically nothing, so you really need to max out the star level of your Swees. We have one here that is 5 stars. And if we add this one to our party with Sweeper and go into view details, we now have a 24% passive skill increase from one Swee alone. Now let's add another. Now we have a 48% passive skill increase for both attack and defense. And guess what? We can keep adding more. My other 2 Swee are only 3 stars, but if we go into here now, we have a 86% increase to our attack and defense. That final level of star is actually huge. So getting your Swees to 5 stars is going to be how you unlock the maximum amount of damage, which means if you're going to use 4 Swees in your party, you're going to have to farm up about 450 Swee. Do I have a problem? Maybe. But you know what? I could be doing crack or something, so at least this is better than that, right? With a 3-star Swee from the Pal Condenser, we get a 19% skill increase per Swee. Both a level 5 one, you get 24 instead, so that last level is a pretty significant boost. Now I am still breeding up the perfect Sweeper. I am still working on breeding up the perfect Sweeper. So let's go over all the passive skills that we're looking for all of our pals for this party setup. My best Sweeper at the moment currently has a Legend passive skill, which gives a plus 20% attack, plus 20% defense, and a movement speed increase of 15%. I have Ferocious on here. I would prefer Musclehead, but I haven't caught a single sweeper with Musclehead on it. I could transfer it from another pal, and we'll get into that in just a second. I also have Lucky on here for work speed 15% and attack 15%, which ideally this is where Musclehead would go. And then Power of Gaia is on here at the moment for a 10% earth attack increase. Now what I would like to do is add Swift on here, since this is going to be my main mount. A 30% movement speed increase I think is worth it rather than going for more damage. So I currently have these two breeding up in the breeding pen, which I'm hoping will result in a sweeper with Legend, Ferocious, Lucky, and the Swift all on one. Now if you really want to maximize your damage, you would go with Legend, Ferocious. You would replace Lucky with Musclehead, and you would either go with an elemental damage increase, like if you want to go with ice attacks, you could get Ice Emperor, which is a 20% increase to ice attack damage. Or you could go with something like Hooligan for a plus 15% attack, or you could still go with Lucky. Now Musclehead is really what I'm missing on my sweeper currently for a massive boost, which is 30% attack increase. Now I mentioned the passive skill Ice Emperor, which comes from a legendary pal, and I have transferred it down to this Astagon through the process of crossbreeding, and now we're using that Astagon and a Blazehowl Noct to create sweepers. I do have a full guide on the crossbreeding process in the game. I highly recommend checking it out. It's going to make your life so much better when you're trying to make powerful pals. Now I got a sweeper with Celestial Emperor here, which was causing me to realize I was using the wrong Astagon. Celestial Emperor is a neutral attack damage increase. I needed to be using this male Astagon with Ice Emperor. You can see we also have the Legend skill, which you can pass down from legendary pals as well. But essentially this whole part was to showcase the crossbreeding mechanic and how you can take legendary passive skills and pass them down the line to some of your favorite pals. Now if you want to know more, I highly recommend checking out that video. I'll leave a link in the description because it's really going to help you make the most powerful pals possible. I finally got all of my Swees to level 5. I upgraded my Sweeper to level 5 as well, and at only level 39, we're sitting at 1,370 attack, 889 defense, and 80 work speed. That is pretty phenomenal. We have a total of a plus 159% attack and plus 116% defense. Now this attack could get significantly higher if I was able to get Musclehead on here, but I wasn't able to, and I still haven't been able to get Swift either. But for now, this sweeper is pretty dang amazing. The passive skills we've decided to put on Sweet I think are going to be really beneficial for the setup as well. We decided to go with Vanguard and Stronghold Strategist, which do stack. This provides a 10% increase to player defense and a 10% increase to player attack. Now since I have 4 in my party, that means I'm getting a 40% boost to my attack, which puts me at 142, and that brings my defense all the way up to 632, making me significantly more survivable than I was before. My original plan was also going to have each of them with Motivational Leader, which is a 25% increase to player speed, but it doesn't seem to work. I've tested this a bunch. Not only does it not work, it doesn't stack either. I think this passive skill might be broken. I've stacked 5 of these on my player, and I didn't see a movement speed increase at all. Now, by the time you're watching this video, this may be fixed, and if it does get fixed, or there is actually a noticeable difference in movement speed, I would definitely recommend having on your Swees Stronghold Strategist, Vanguard, and Motivational Leader, so that way you're completely buffing your player as well, which would be really, really nice. Now we can do the final step to truly bring out the rest of the power of this sweeper. We need to go to the Statue of Power, and we're going to consume some souls to be able to boost the attack, HP, and defense. Even without fully upgrading it, we could still get another 3% out of here. We're already at 1,737 attack, and we're not even max level yet. This is the sweeper stats at level 50, but I kept breeding and I actually got a better sweeper. But this one currently has 2,116 attack, 1,200 defense, and 80 work speed. Absolutely bananas. Now to showcase why passive skills are so important, I took my new sweeper, fully leveled it, upgraded it, and everything. And now we're sitting at 2,351 attack, 1,423 defense. And there's one more really cool thing you can do with any pal in the game, is you can actually teach them any skill available. So I have every element available on this sweeper, so I can take advantage of any fight in the game. It's not strictly just an ice pal now. I can do whatever I want. Now you can do this by getting skill fruits. I've got an entire video on all the skill fruit locations, and this comes in super handy not only for sweeper, but for any pal you might have, so I definitely recommend checking out that video. I'll leave a link in the description description. Now, I have mentioned that the Sweepa is pretty slow, so if you don't put Swift on this and you go for full-blown attack or a little bit of extra defense, it might not be the worst idea to at least bring a good mount with you, whether it's a flyer or a ground and flyer mount like the Frostallion Noct or Frostallion, just currently one of my favorites. If we switch out one Sui, we still have 2152 attack, 1265 defense. That's really not bad, and that gives us 2 pals in addition to our Suis, which quite frankly can still be really useful. But regardless, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one.